Welcome to another episode of Core Discussions. My name's Legacy.
My name's Max.
Ivan J.
All right, so as you saw with our last episode, we did worst Royal Rumble winners. Now we're going to do best Royal Rumble winners. So this is taking into account many things, and remember, we are doing individual years. So those who have won multiple Royal Rumbles, we are specific on the year that they won. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes.
Perhaps.
All right. So we're going to start off, and we did only do a top 5 for this. We're going to go ahead and start off. There was actually, we got 6 and 6 because we did have a 3-way tie. So starting off at number 4, we are going to do Max is number 2, 2002, Brock Lesnar Royal Rumble win.
Am I the only person to vote for this?
Yeah, you're the only one.
Oh, man.
How?
Didn't make the list.
It didn't
How?
work for me.
This was a perfect build for Brock Lesnar. This was a good Royal Rumble too.
Yeah. And he beat
Yeah.
Big Show to get into the match, but I just,
And wasn't the last person eliminated Undertaker?
There might have been a point against him for Vitamin J over there.
Wow, I'm shocked. This was like the year of Lesnar. This was a perfect build to him because then it also led to the Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar match.
it's a good match.
That's a
Mhm.
damn good match. What's your reason for not including this
No,
in there?
I mean, the
There was-
2002 / beginning of 2003 when he won the Rumble was a great year for Lesnar. I just had other ones in there, Max. I just had better ones.
Top 10, you probably would have hit it, but top
These
5,
these lists surprise me sometimes, man. These lists surprise me sometimes.
it gets a
Wow.
little more dicey at top 5. It's a little more dicey. I
Like
gotta be
I'm not shocked Phil didn't put him in here because he's a notorious Brock Lesnar hater. But Jacob, I mean,
I just have other stuff. There are better winners.
I'll find out. I'm going to find out what's on your list, and I'm going to tell you which ones are not.
E3 also didn't put it on his list either, and
He's not here for me to eviscerate him
Yeah.
either. I'll talk to him. Don't you worry about that.
it was a heck of a year. It was a heck of a year for him.
Yeah.
For
No,
him.
I mean, if you did top 10 best Rumbles, yes, he would have made the list. But top 5,
Yeah.
no.
We're off to a rocky start here, Philip.
I don't even think you're gonna dislike my list.
We'll see about that, pal.
Hard. Look, only so many people can get on. It is what it is.
There were some tough decisions made at the cutting room.
The next one we're going to go to is 2007. Both Vitamin J and D3 put this as their number 4. This is also tied for 4th place, coming in with 4 points. It is The Undertaker winning it, and I believe he was the 30th entrant.
He was
That year, yes.
the first person to do it.
So,
I believe. I put it on there. One, Undertaker's my favorite wrestler, so I'm a bit biased. But the ending with Shawn Michaels when they just wrestled for like minutes. I can't remember how long it was, but it was at least like 5 minutes. Was really good. And then the way he had to win with him reversing the switching music to pick up Shawn Michaels and just dump him was really good. And it set up the really good feud / matches between him and Shawn Michaels. And then, of course, at the WrestleMania, he had that great match. It was a short match, too. It was like 10 minutes, but he had a great match with Batista. I don't like it when the Rumble winner doesn't main event. Like, obviously, back then, if WWE did 2 nights, they just would have done one night. But one night would have been done. But, yeah, no, great. And it just set, that was when Undertaker, 2007, 8 was probably Undertaker's, like, in early 2009 was probably like his best years of in-ring action.
He was in such good shape, too.
Oh, yeah.
So which is crazy because all those years before, he was decent, but he really hit his stride during that time.
And then with the WrestleMania moment of him winning. Yeah, that was actually good.
Man, I wish
That was a
Bobby
good
was
go.
here to give Undertaker some accolades.
All right, we're going to go into our last one for number 4. It was voted on by myself and Vitamin J. It was my number 3. It was Vitamin J's number 5. 2001, Stone Cold Steve Austin winning the Royal Rumble, coming again in with 4 points.
I'm surprised, Max, you didn't put this on your list.
I had another one.
Now, this was probably one of the best Rumble matches, period, too, in my opinion. But the 2001 was really meaningful just because of also what happened at the WrestleMania with him turning heel. So it
Yeah.
was just a moment, and it showed like Austin's like insane drive to be champion again.
Yeah, that whole build up to that WrestleMania match was good, very good. But I didn't want to I'm a big Stone Cold fan. I didn't want to have 3 Stone Colds on this list,
Stone Cold winning again. kind of the build of his last title run with the WWE belt, that this would be coming to it, and kind of starting, like you said, the whole he's desperate, he's so desperate and will do anything. And I think the storyline going to the moment where he makes a deal with the devil, as everybody would like to say, I think that was great, especially just even the him and The Rock videos, him and The Rock, once The Rock wins the title, like him and that whole feud going with it and everything.
This one also was the same Rumble. I believe this was when Kane had the 11 or 12 eliminations. Maybe not. I know he eliminated The Rock, so they avoided the Rock Austin confrontation during this match. So it was just it's probably, if we ever did a top 5 Rumble matches, this would definitely be like 1 or 2 for me.
And this also led to one of the best WrestleManias just in general in history too.
Yeah, 17, 18, and 19 were like really good, and WWE could not miss at WrestleMania at that time.
I mean, their build and everything, they were just hitting. That stride was so strong.
Yeah, that was a peak of WWE right there, 18, 19, or 17, 18.
All right, so we're going to go into our number 3. It is going to be voted on by D3 and Max, coming in with 6 points. It is 2005, Dave Bautista winning the Royal Rumble and eliminating John Cena. Also remembered for the crazy ending, Vince McMahon tearing both of his quads, I believe.
Yep.
Due to the botched finish, which actually kind of worked out best for it.
I love how in that finish, like, they were not supposed to go at the same time, but literally they botched it so bad or good, however you want to phrase it, and they both literally landed at the same time. Like, they didn't just gimmick it and just like, oh no, Batista's going to win, but he actually hit first. We're going to lie and say they both hit at the same time. No, they both legitly hit at the same time. That was crazy. And then, of course, the Vince McMahon spectacle of him throwing the jacket down. He's so pissed. He gets in the ring, and then he tore both quads trying to get in. He's sitting there like this, and then he'd have to make an announcement sitting down.
They had to restart, and then Batista quickly proceeds to spinebuster. I think he spinebusted, then he just tossed him out. He didn't hit the Batista bomb, at least at that point.
And then when he threw Cena out, he caught Cena's leg pretty good. Cena almost could have tore his ACL.
Cena's had some bad landings.
But no, I put this on there, and I'll let Bobby speak a little bit on it too. But I thought in this time they were building 2 megastars really well, John Cena and Batista at this time. Batista he was still in evolution at this point. And what came after this was the famous, I mean, it's been beautifully done, of when he turned on Triple H. I mean, that's one of the better segments in Raw history, probably.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I put him on there, because his turn from evolution is one of the top 5 greatest modern turns.
Yeah, I mean, the way they built him and Cena up, they just couldn't have done it any better. They just perfect storylines for each one on the SmackDown and Raw side of things.
They learned from their mistakes of when they did the same earlier with Randy Orton and it didn't work out. So they fixed their mistakes and with Batista, and it was so much better for it.
Yep. And then the match he had with Triple H was not a bad match whatsoever.
Which is interesting because he beat him in 3 straight pay-per-views, which was unheard of for Triple H at the time. With the Reign of Terror and everything, he was not putting people over as people would like. Beating Triple H in 3 straight pay-per-views absolutely helped make him. And yeah, no, I agree. It was just him and John Cena, 2 generational talents with 2 amazing builds for their first title wins. Not very often you see that.
But yeah, good Royal Rumble match with him and Cena, memorable for good and bad reasons. Great build to his WrestleMania match with Triple H, and then it delivered. He won the match, was champion. So I kind of feel like this is what the Royal Rumble is meant to do: build new stars, and not always build new stars, but sometimes it can be used to build new stars. And it built Batista impeccably.
That was the passing of the torch to Cena and Batista, and even with the ending, I felt it kind of just worked for it because you had 2 big stars. Of it's kind of like either way, either one could have won, especially at that point. So it worked because it had those 2. Like, now if it had Batista and Hurricane, then it would have been right,
it would have been a lot worse.
But it's like no. And also the funny thing, what was it? McMahon walked out because Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff, who were the GMs of the time,
left.
They were like, "Oh, we did everything we needed to do. Good Royal Rumble, guys. See you later." And then that happens, and so. Yeah, just the whole you can't write it better. You could even write it better. Let's do some honorable mentions. We're gonna go into my number 5. This one was a shocking return that happened. This is actually the only one that came on the list where the person did not end up winning the title afterwards. This is 2008 John Cena. All right. The reason I put this on, yes, I do have a bias because I really do like John Cena. It's my second favorite wrestler of all time. But the reason I did put it on is one was the shocking return because he was supposed to be out for even longer because he just tore his pectoral. Nobody thought he was going to.
He wasn't even close to being ready to return, at least from the initial timeline.
Because it was like 3 months and it was supposed to be like 7 or 9.
People assumed he wasn't going to make Mania.
Yeah, and at the time it was kind of during the Super Cena. This kind of just added to it, but the Super Cena whole thing, and people were kind of getting tired. But he left, and everybody was so excited when he showed up because it's like, wait, what?
Went nuts when John Cena came out.
I
mean, and it was a legitimate surprise because, again, like I said, he was probably beating his timetable by like 3 months, so no one thought he was going to be there.
And also, I think the reason I like this is actually because he ended up losing, and this was the first time in like years that the Royal Rumble winner.
Was this the triple threat with Triple H and Orton?
I believe it was. He ended up losing this one. He ended up losing, and it was the first time in a long time the Royal Rumble winner had lost the Royal Rumble, had lost the WrestleMania main event. I think it was good just to kind of remind us as fans, like, yeah, just because you win it, like now it's done a lot more. But it kind of just put it back of like, just because you win the Royal Rumble doesn't mean you're going to win it, to kind of put more surprise in whether the Royal Rumble winner. I think it's nice to have that surprise of like whether the Royal Rumble winner is going to win or not. Because it, like, I forgot, it was I think it was at least 10 years. I was 10 straight years of the Royal Rumble winner always won.
It was getting quite a bit predictable at that point.
That's why I put it. We can go into one of Max's, his number 5, 2020, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I put him because I feel like they did a great job of building Drew McIntyre at this point, because this was briefly pre-pandemic, and then shortly after it was, the pandemic happened. And I thought Drew McIntyre really carried Raw during that time. But this was a good Royal Rumble just from top to bottom. This had the Brock Lesnar spectacle of him coming in and eliminating like the first 13 or so people. And then you build that spot where Drew McIntyre finally eliminated him. That's a huge moment in the Rumble. And then, you finally build him up to be the single star that you wanted him to be a decade ago. And he's still on the upper echelon of talent they have right now. He's probably going to be winning the title again at some point once the Roman thing is done.
If it wasn't for Roman, he'd probably be champion on SmackDown right now.
They did a good job of building him up. And again, it led to him winning the title from Lesnar. And again, that was
the only issue is, unfortunately, the pandemic made that match no one's gonna remember that match, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. So this was more because I thought the Rumble itself was good, and he was a good choice to win that one. But unfortunately, due to circumstances outside of anyone's control, the match itself is not going to be remembered as highly as others.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that that WrestleMania, no one's gonna ever want to rewatch it because it's just no crowd. This was before they even did the fake crowd noise, and so it was just quiet. Well, you could hear everything. But so that's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate for Drew McIntyre. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit another one. We're actually gonna hit. It is 1992. Ric Flair.
No one.
I knew he'd put this on there. I knew he would.
Because it is. It's one of the best Rumbles ever. And then Ric Flair wins, and then he cuts one of the best promos of all time with a tear in his eye.
This one also had the added stipulation: the winner won the title.
Yeah, exactly. The winner won the title, and he had a good. I liked his feud with Savage and all that.
It was supposed to be Hogan.
Fortunately, this was another one where they did not main event Savage and Flair. I can't remember. I think it was Hogan and it's like Sid Vicious, maybe.
I believe it was Sid.
And I think they put that on just because they knew Warrior was returning. I'm assuming Hogan probably would have complained at that time. But anyway.
And I believe Sid was the first person to kick out the leg drop too, but he shouldn't have had to. He kicked out because Papa Shango was too late.
Yep.
Which it wasn't matter. Yeah. It's like, what was he not at Gorilla or something? Was he? Where was he? This Rumble does have the weird thing of the face Hogan when he got eliminated. He got eliminated clean by Sid Vicious, and then he throws a temper tantrum, and then causes Sid to get eliminated by grabbing his hand.
Yeah, he pulls him out. He pulls him out the match.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I think Ric Flair helped dump him. Somebody helped dump him as Hogan was grabbing his arm. But yeah, it was just weird to see the ultimate babyface Hulk Hogan do something like that. No, it was one of the best Rumbles. So I definitely recommend everybody to watch it.
I'll think about it.
You probably haven't even seen it, Bobby, have you?
We're going to talk about another one that was voted on by myself in D3. It is Rey Mysterio's winning in 2006. As you all remember, during this moment, this was after Eddie had passed, and that was kind of a huge thing. Rey Mysterio also entered in at number 1, and I believe still holds the record for longest time in Royal Rumble, or at least at that point.
If you don't count the greatest Royal Rumble, I believe so.
Yeah,
I think WWE says it was like Daniel Bryan, I think.
Just the Royal Rumble. It is with the 30-man Royal Rumble. It is Rey Mysterio. I think just the emotions of everything with Eddie, of why, he kind of pretty much won. A lot of it had to do with Eddie, but also the underdog story. Then the story afterwards where he gets screwed by Randy Orton, pulls his tights, so he loses his shot. Then he has to gain it back to win the title. I think kind of just that whole underdog story of Rey Mysterio. And, he's been a great wrestler. It was kind of him deserving the dues, or getting his dues of finally winning the title. And I think just the whole moment of everything going along with that. That's why I put it.
It's a little unfortunate that if Eddie didn't, that which none of us wanted him to die, but if he didn't, I doubt Rey Mysterio would have won that.
There's no way he would have won.
No.
Who knows where Rey Mysterio's career would have been if not for his passing? Because I just don't think. Maybe later people would have seen him as champion, but I don't know. I guess they would have had maybe Orton win the Rumble to set up him and Kurt Angle, but I don't know. I'm assuming that's why they put Rey Mysterio. They put Randy Orton in the Triple Threat. Is because they wanted him to win originally.
Well, it would have been different because Eddie would have had the belt. Would have had the World Heavyweight belt.
Yeah, because he was supposed. Well, most people believe he was probably going to win it the night he passed, or the taping right before he passed. Yeah, I mean, who knows where wrestling would be if Eddie Guerrero would have been like a multi-time champ,
Because he was at that point, he was really. I remember he was really over after the whole feud and him and Batista stuff.
Wait, Rey Mysterio, it was a good title win. Unfortunately, they didn't treat his title reign with any respect, because he got
no, they did not.
He got beat up by Great Khali and then a bunch of the other heavyweights. So I think the only heavyweight he actually beat was JBL.
Yeah.
But then he had the feud. He lost the title to King Booker, I believe. So that was really good because King Booker was awesome.
Yep. No matter what anyone says, King Booker was amazing.
That was good stuff.
If we ever did top 10 King of the Rings, he's probably top 5.
But yeah, let's go into our final 2. So the next one got voted on. This one got voted on by everybody but Max. Came in with 11 points. It is 1996 Shawn Michaels winning the Royal Rumble, which would lead up to the Boyhood Dream thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. It just leads to Shawn Michaels really, because he had I believe the WrestleMania before he lost to Diesel, so he kept getting denied the chances to win the title. So him winning the Rumble finally get him on the right path to being a huge babyface, and it was just a big moment. And it's when people think of Royal Rumble victories, they usually always think about this one, but Shawn Michaels knocking over the Bulldog after Bulldog thought he won. And then you got the original Skin the Cat, or one of the original Skin the Cats.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask WWE to really chill on doing Skin the Cat? I see it way too many times.
If I see
Dolph Ziggler, way too much. It just loses it. It's lost there.
If I see Dolph Ziggler Skin the Cat one more time in the Rumble, I'm gonna lose it. And then it was a pretty good match, long, but he.
It's 6 was the Iron Man match that led to a draw. Had to go overtime.
Yeah.
A 0-0 draw.
See, I wish that's the one thing I would have changed. I would have had them at least go 1-1. But I guess they wanted to have the fans really want that finish, and this finish to it was really good with the Sweet Chin music. That was a really good one.
One issue WWE did with Shawn Michaels at this time is they tried to really, when he won the Rumble, the whole build up to the Bret Hart match, they really try to make him the good old boy, and they brought Jose Lothario back, and it just was they're forcing him to be this too goody of a guy during that time. So that's why eventually he started getting booed. Maybe even over the next year, people would still like Shawn Michaels, but eventually he was getting more booed, which led to him being the DX doing the DX stuff.
True.
I cannot remember if this title reign when he won at WrestleMania, if he lost to Sid or if he vacated. I can't remember.
This- I want to say he lost it to Sid. Either way, which that Sid match was good. I thought it was a good match.
It was good.
I liked it for that of like this was the point where they kind of realized who the next star was going to be, the next big boy of WWE. I mean, granted there was still Bret Hart, but like, and it also started him and Bret Hart, that whole feud, which is really it's obviously one of the greatest feuds they've ever of all time, but like really kind of got into that whole Shawn Michaels, and this is what, like Vitamin J said, propelled Shawn Michaels. I think the last thing to propel him into that main event, and what the Shawn Michaels we would end up getting for like, this is a great guy. And even with, like you said, DX coming up after this, and even with the whole when he would lose it a couple years later to Stone Cold, like this is where it started of him being that guy.
Then iconic for the Rumble win, iconic for the WrestleMania entrance, iconic for the ending of the match. So they did a great job all around. Iconic with the call from Vince McMahon about the boyhood dream coming true.
All right, and we are going to our number one. It was voted on by everybody. I think this is the first time ever it was voted on number one by everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm shocked Jacob voted this number one.
It is 1998. The Texas Rattlesnakes' second time winning the Royal Rumble. So he won. Congratulations! What a way!
And like you mentioned
again.
Yeah, and like you mentioned earlier, he eliminated The Rock, but this is Rock when he's still in the Nation of Domination. So The Rock wasn't quite there yet, but it still kind of led you to see what the next half decade would be like between them two. Because every time they met in the ring, it's an absolute classic, pretty much. So this kind of gave you a little taste of that. But also, Mike Tyson was in the arena for this. He's watching the Rumble, so it led up to that whole deal with the Tyson being the enforcer for the match between Austin and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels had just injured his back recently against Undertaker, so this match could have been a little bit better, but with Shawn Michaels being, hobbled coming in, it still was a pretty good match. Iconic finish with the reversal of the Sweet Chin Music to the Stunner to win, and then of course Shawn Michaels getting knocked out by Mike Tyson at the end too was pretty iconic. And then it led to the greatest. This build led to the greatest superstar of all time, right, Phil?
Yeah, right there. Completely. That's why I liked it. Is because like with before, this was the begin. Well, this was the final kind of point of putting him to that moment where he was going to be the face of the company. Granted, there was like moments that led up, whether it was the Bret Hart match, but kind of like pushing him to like, okay, now he's about to take the reins. Now he's about to be, especially with Shawn Michaels having to be away. Now he's about to be that guy, because I know the transition kind of worked for them, because I know when Hogan left, there was a weird transition of like, oh, who's going to be the guy? But now with Shawn Michaels hurt, they're like, he's the guy. He was getting very over. It was just, it was one of great, very good storytelling.
Yeah, the match itself isn't going to be one of the best, but the winner and what it represented was, because I believe WWE claims this as one of the WrestleManias that helped them not have to go bankrupt.
Yeah, if you go back and watch Raws from like 96 to 97, you just gradually see the crowd. Every time Austin comes on, they're getting more and more excited. And then, 98, he wins the Royal Rumble. So it's like, all right, here's our next star. And without Stone Cold, we would be watching WCW right now.
Or we wouldn't have wrestling at all, because WCW ran it to the ground. And then what do you have to replace that? TNA? Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, great. Do you agree with our list? Do you not? Do you have a different top five? What is your top five best Royal Rumble winners? Leave it in the comments below. Let us know what you thought. Keep liking, subscribing, commenting, and we've really appreciated it. Thank you for all the support. Just a reminder of our schedule. Usually we do our top 10, like our main show, our top 10s usually come out on Mondays. Quizzes come out on Wednesdays, and Thursdays is our NFL review. As you know, the NFL season is winding down, so after the NFL, we will be doing probably an NBA show like once a month, and then as we get closer to playoffs, we'll probably do more and have other stuff coming in the works. Is there something else you want to see? Let us know if there's anything else you guys want us to talk about in our and any ideas you guys have. Again, my name's Legacy,
and my name's Max.
Vitamin J.
And may the discussions begin.